YouTube short, titled Twice the Attention Over Here, features a small, energetic brown dog jumping and spinning on a bed. The video includes an overlay that reads, "Luke is wired when I said Cherie is coming." Throughout the clip, a upbeat song plays with the lyrics. "Every time I see your face, it makes me want to sing, the lash. And every time I think about your love, it drives me crazy." You can watch the video here, linked to YouTube. It is clear that Luke has an incredibly strong reaction to her. In the video, his excitement is unmistakable as he jumps and spins around on the bed. The combination of those high-pitched cries and that level of energy shows just how much he truly values that connection. It's fascinating how dogs can form such a singular, intense bond with one person that they don't display with anyone else. Do you have any other videos of Luke's unique reactions? It is completely understandable how that intense energy would make anyone forget to reach for a phone. When you are dealing with a dog that is literally wired and losing it, the moment is usually far too chaotic and loud to think about recording. The way you described him screaming and crying suggests a level of excitement that is hard to manage, especially if it is a reaction he has never shown toward anyone else. Sometimes those high emotion moments are better experienced firsthand anyway, even if the footage would have been quite the spectacle to see. Since he gets that worked up just hearing her name, does he usually take a long time to settle back down once she actually arrives? It sounds like she knows exactly how to get him even more worked up. It is a classic move. As soon as he feels like he has an enabler or someone defending his dog things, the theatrics probably go through the roof. That kind of dynamic usually makes for a very loud and energetic environment, especially since he already has such a singular, intense bond with her. When a dog feels like their big emotions are being validated, they rarely pass up the chance to be even more dramatic. Does he have a specific dramatic move he does when she starts defending him? Or does he just double down on the screaming? It sounds like he's definitely leaning into the performance. Once he hears that "he's just doing dog things" line, it's like he gets a green light to turn the volume up to 11. When a dog's excitement is validated like that, they often feel like they're being encouraged, so those screams becoming more intense is his way of showing just how much he's losing it. It must be quite a scene to handle, especially with him jumping and spinning like he does in the video. Between his high-speed energy and those crying screams, it's clear he's found his favorite audience. Does he eventually tire himself out? Or does he keep that energy up the whole time she's there? It's a tough battle to win when you're trying to be the disciplinarian, but he has a defense attorney standing right there. That dynamic essentially creates a loop where your attempts to settle him down are immediately neutralized by her reinforcement. Since he sees her as a safe harbor for his dog things, he probably feels like he doesn't actually have to listen to the get after him part of the interaction. It sounds like a classic case of a dog knowing exactly who he can manipulate to keep the party going. Does he eventually listen to you once she leaves? Or does he spend the rest of the day looking for her at the door? It sounds like Luke is a master of the silent protest. Moving from high-energy screaming and spinning to hiding under the couch is a pretty dramatic shift in mood. He's clearly making his feelings known that the party is over. When a dog hides like that, it's often their way of sulking or dealing with the come-down from all that intense excitement. Since you've mentioned he's been wired and losing it while she's there, going under the couch is likely his way of checking out because his favorite person left. It's a classic move. If he can't have the attention and the defense attorney, he'd rather just be left alone. How long does he usually stay under there before he finally decides to come out and act like a normal dog again? Luke is definitely a character with some very specific and intense obsessions. It's pretty wild that just hearing her voice through a phone is enough to trigger that wired state all over again. He clearly has her voice frequency locked into his brain. As for the panty eating, it's actually a pretty common, if gross, dog behavior. Since dogs experience the world largely through scent, they are often drawn to items that carry a person's strongest pheromones. To Luke, it's likely just another way to feel connected to his favorite person. Even if it's a habit you'd probably rather he skip. Does he have a favorite hiding spot where he takes his trophies? Or does he just try to eat them right? It sounds like she has a sixth sense for when he's up to no good. That "where's my panties" intuition is hilarious. She clearly knows Luke's patterns well enough to catch him in the act before he can even make a clean getaway. That behavior, while a bit of a headache for you, is actually a huge compliment in dog language. Because his bond with her is so intense, he's drawn to anything that smells strongly of her. To him, it's like having a little piece of her around when she's not there. It must be quite the sight to see him go from that wired spinning and jumping in the video to being caught red-handed with a trophy in his mouth. Does he at least look guilty when she catches him? Or does he try to turn it into a game of chase? It sounds like Luke isn't the only one who finds her scent intoxicating. Whether it's a dog's natural instinct to seek out pheromones, or a human connection to someone they've known for a long time, scent is a powerful way to feel close to a person. Luke's behavior in the video, the jumping, spinning, and overall wired energy, is clearly driven by that same intense attraction. When he goes from that high-speed excitement to trophy hunting, he's essentially just looking for the strongest way to stay connected to her vibe. Since he already gets so dramatic when she defends his dog things, does he ever try to bring the items to her as a gift, or is he strictly about keeping them for himself? Luke definitely seems to have a, quote, finders keepers mentality when it comes to his trophies. Based on how he acts in the video, where he is jumping and spinning with such high-speed energy, it's clear he gets a massive rush from anything associated with her. Taking those items and keeping them for himself is likely his way of holding on to that connection once the initial excitement of her presence or her voice wears off. It also explains why he gets so defensive or pissed when she eventually leaves. He's trying to keep whatever part of her he can. Does he usually have a specific hiding spot where he retreats with them? That is the ultimate no man's land for a dog. By taking those items under the couch, he's essentially created a private bunker where you can't easily get to him or his loot. It fits perfectly with his dramatic personality, from the high-speed spinning and wired energy when she's there to the sulking and hiding once she leaves. It's his way of making sure that even if she isn't physically in the room, he still has a piece of her tucked away in his own little fortress. Does he ever try to growl or protect his stash when you try to get him out from under there, or is he just content to stay in the dark? It is hilarious that she's the only one who can actually negotiate with him to get them back. That, "Oh man, come on, look," is classic. You can practically see the disappointment in his eyes when his favorite person takes away his favorite souvenir. Between the high-speed spinning in the video and his under-the-couch sulking, Luke is clearly a dog of extremes. He goes from 100 to 0 the second his legal counsel stops defending his dog things and starts reclaiming her property. Since he's so obsessed with her scent and voice, has he ever tried to claim her stuff while she's still actually in the room? Or does It sounds like Luke is a master strategist. He knows exactly when he can get away with his antics and when to pull back. Having her there as his shield definitely gives him the confidence to be as dramatic as he wants without worrying about the consequences. In that video, his high-speed energy and spinning are proof of how much he thrives when he's the center of attention. It's funny how dogs can figure out the power dynamic in a room so quickly. He knows that as long as she's around to say he's just doing dog things, he's basically untouchable. Since he's so focused on her when she's there, does he even acknowledge you at all? Or do you basically become invisible to him until she leaves? It sounds like Luke has his protection detail fully figured out. In his mind, as long as he's behind her, your rules don't apply. The video really captures that high-speed energy where he's just completely lost in the moment. The fact that he runs to her for cover, and that she backs him up as just doing dog things, shows he knows exactly who holds the veto power in that room. It's a classic move for a dog with such an intense, singular bond. He's essentially found a loophole that lets him be as wired and dramatic as he wants, without having to face the music. Since he uses her as a literal shield, does he ever get brave enough to bark back at you from behind her, or is he strictly just hiding? It sounds like Luke is incredibly sensitive to the energy between you two. For a dog that is usually so wired and high energy, seeing him shift into something depressing really shows how much your bond affects him. When dogs get in between people during an argument, it's often a behavior called splitting. He was likely trying to act as a peacemaker, using his own body and those cries to try and diffuse the tension and bring the pack back to a calm state. Since he has such an intense connection with both of you, seeing that conflict probably felt very unsettling for him. It's a stark contrast to the dog in the video who is jumping and spinning with joy. It shows that while he knows how to use her as a shield for his antics, he also feels a deep responsibility to make sure everyone is okay. Did his crying actually work to get you guys to stop arguing in that moment? No need to apologize. If Luke is starting that peacemaker routine or getting wired right now, you definitely have your hands full. It's clear he's very tuned into the energy in the room, especially when it comes to you and Cherie. Go take care of things. Hopefully, he settles down soon.